What's going on, everyone? This is Midge. Hope you all have had a great Wednesday and a great work week so far as we're closing in on the weekend again. It looks like we're going to have some active weather overnight into tomorrow, into overnight tomorrow night also. It looks like this is going to be a damaging wind threat and a small tornado threat for areas stretching all the way from southeast North Carolina all the way to portions of Florida, as it looks like an upper level, well, there is an upper level low is swinging through, and basically there is going to be a low level jet that's going to promote a lot of wind energy. Not a lot of cape, but there'll be a very small section where a warm front's going to ride north into this cold front. And whoever's in that area, that moist sector or warm sector, is going to have a severe weather threat. It's going to be a very, I guess you can call a quick threat, and it's going to move through and promote severe weather. So we're going to talk about that, talk about who can see the nastiest weather. It was a pretty active day today. I'm seeing a lot of videos out of the Orange, Texas area. It was a legit tornado. It looked like something out of the movie Twister. It actually threw a vehicle way up in the air and then slammed it. I mean, they got it on video and everything. I meant to actually have that video pulled up for you guys, but I don't. But it's probably going to go viral on Facebook, as it already is on Twitter. Incredible day here as far as tornadoes. I wouldn't call it an outbreak, but there was one specific storm that really produced down there in southeast Texas and in western areas of Louisiana. But we're going to talk about this. We're going to break it down. If you guys have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's been very slow on my channel, probably the slowest month since I would say June, and just not a lot been going on, and that's fine. I'm really excited about the cold weather months for you guys. I'm talking about winter weather. That's my favorite kind of weather, even though I'm living in South Carolina. It never snows or does anything, but definitely follow along. I do updated videos every single day. And I also do storm chasing stuff, which I think 2022 is going to be a big year for me. So I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for the amazing support. If you got anything I can pray about, put it in the comments below. And we'll definitely all pray for you. I got a lot of people, good family atmosphere. We all look out for each other here. So we'll look at the latest Storm Prediction Center. Slight risk stretching all the way from almost southwest areas of Florida all the way up into southeast areas of North Carolina. Really, the biggest reason we got a level 2 out of 5 is because of the tornado threat we hear. There's going to be a little bit of low-level shear, enough to, obviously juice up here this 5% chance of a tornado of 25 miles of any given point in this location, then the 2% around that area. But, you notice this is really tucked into the coastal areas of the Carolinas and Georgia, and then obviously Florida, which sticks way out more south. And that is basically because there is going to be a moist sector that's going to ride here, a warm sector, where dew points are basically going to spike for a very brief period, and that's when you're going to have your severe weather threat. Wind damage, 15% chance of wind damage happening in this area. Hail threat, not really a big threat with this. In the short term, what's crazy here is, we'll back it up here. You notice everybody's cooling down. You're getting into the Carolinas, and we'll wake up here in the Carolinas and temperatures in the 40s and 50s, very chilly air. But what you'll notice here is there's this little pocket right here of warm weather. They're going to be waking up in the 60s and 70s in the panhandle of Florida and northern areas of Alabama, portions of Georgia. And that's because there's a moist sector where a warm front is riding the actual cold front boundary. And anybody along the warm front and just south is going to be much warmer and much more humid. And during the day, that's going to continue to ride into the region. And you'll notice it, especially in the Carolinas. You'll wake up chilly. And if you're from Columbia, points east and points south into eastern areas of North Carolina, you'll notice during the day, all of a sudden, it'll get much more humid very quickly. And you'll see the clouds start going 1,000 miles an hour just above your head. But check it out here. We'll look at the latest HRRR model. This moisture will continue to move in. It'll get into areas of Alabama and the western panhandle of Florida as early as 10, 11 o'clock tonight. So here in a couple hours, and Central Standard Time, obviously. And then obviously it gets into Eastern Standard Time, and this will continue to march here. Now, even in these areas right here, there could be some kinks. There can be a tornado threat. But really, you have no real daytime heating, so nothing crazy is going on here. But as we get into the morning hours, it starts to redevelop back here, and you have to watch these little cells right in here for any severe weather. Low-level jet continues to kick up here. and moisture begins to ride into South Carolina as we're getting into about early to mid-morning, and then it's able to warm up, and we'll see how much it does warm up. Moist sector begins to ride here, and this final line here, after kind of some moderate rain moves through, temperatures will spike, humidity will spike, surface moisture will spike here. Big time wind energy ahead of this upper level low will begin to kick out and really get going here out the south. And a nice low level jet will set up, and I'll show you all that here in a second. And these little storms right here, especially down here, can have little spins to them, but it really gets amplified once it gets into this area right into here. So you have to watch these storms from Charleston to Myrtle Beach, Savannah, Jacksonville, down here. All these little storms could have spin ups to them. So we're watching all these through the afternoon. And what you'll notice here is in most areas, especially in the Carolinas and really Georgia, you'll start off with just regular rain, and then the storms can actually follow through after kind of the light to moderate rain. So we'll look at the 850s here, and you notice we're getting into that wee hours of the morning, and around 10Z, which is around 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning here in Alabama. You notice you have basically a 40 to 50 knot jet here. So a lot of energy just above our head, about 4,000 to 5,000 feet up. So you'll notice, you'll look in the sky, and when you're waking up, in Alabama and Georgia, as this low-level jet pivots through, you'll notice that the clouds are going to be speeding at 100 miles an hour. This quickly moves into Georgia as we get into late morning, early afternoon, and then moves into the Carolinas, and it really ramps up again. And this is when the severe weather can really ramp up in areas of the Carolinas. But beforehand, you're going to have this piece of energy, all this wind energy at the lower levels of the atmosphere, really ramping up across the panhandle. So I think the biggest threat for tornadoes will basically swell southern Alabama and southern Georgia and the panhandle of Florida is going to be in the morning. It's a late morning, and then it really shifts into the afternoon and late night hours into the eastern Carolinas as that low-level jet kicks through, provides some shear, low-level shear, and really moves through. Now I want to show you this. This is dew points because it's very important here. It does a great job of really, so to me, it's pretty cool because you have basically one air mass colliding into another, and then you have another air mass following that air mass. So what I mean here is we'll wake up, we'll get into this is probably overnight into 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Check out all this, basically all this dry air eroding. These are dew points, not temperatures. It's being replaced very quickly within a few hours. Dew points in the 40s being replaced with dew points in the 50s and 60s to near 70. This little moist sector, and this is a little sector right here. Obviously, the whole state of Florida remains very humid because they stick out further south. But you'll wake up with dry air, very cool air in the Carolinas around 7, 8 o'clock. But you'll notice as you get into the morning hours that those dew points rise very quickly, and even as far north as Charlotte, up into basically the triangle of North Carolina, dew points spike. You'll notice, early to mid-afternoon, humidity will all of a sudden feel like it comes out of nowhere, especially if you're inside for a while and then come back in, or inside for a while and then come back out is what I meant. But, you'll have this nice moist sector that will promote surface moisture for the severe weather threat when you have high dew points and high, basically, surface moisture that promotes and is another ingredient for severe weather along with the wind energy. And then quickly, the upper level low piece of energy switches through, and then all that moist air gets pushed back away, and the atmosphere reloads with dry air. Now you look at CAPE, which is storm energy, what we need for explosive updrafts and things like that. This is why I worry about the panhandle tomorrow morning, and then in the wee hours of the morning. We're getting into 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning here, and there's actually CAPE values reaching well above 1,000 to almost 2,000 joules per kilogram, according to the HRRR model. That mixed with all the other ingredients, including great surface humidity, surface dew points, and a lot of wind energy, I really think the panhandle floor needs to watch out in the morning. It really could take some people by surprise. But obviously, there's a ton of CAPE into Florida, so that's why we have to watch any little sails from Orlando to Tampa, Ocala to Jacksonville. Anybody in these areas have to watch out. And then we get into later in the afternoon tomorrow. And there's a little sector of some small area of Cape. We have to watch out, even though it's only, the 500 to 750 range of Cape, which really isn't a lot at all. And then that moves on out. And we look at the significant tornado parameter, and you look overnight as we're getting later this evening, southern Mississippi into southern Alabama. But then you look at this area, 1 or 2 out of the STP value scale over here out of 10. So there's definitely going to be a threat. And then, it's still low but high in the grand scheme of things across most of the state of Florida. But you notice there'll be a brief time where it kind of rises here along the coastal areas. But even then, so threat doesn't look huge tomorrow, but need to watch out for this for sure tomorrow. It's going to be a very changing atmosphere during the day tomorrow, especially if you're in Georgia and the Carolinas, where a lot of you folks, especially if you're in northern Georgia, into basically central South Carolina, points east and south, and then the coastal areas of North Carolina. You'll wake up, it'll be chilly, but it'll quickly warm, the humidity will quickly rise, and then the severe weather threat rises. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in, and y'all stay safe tomorrow, and stay safe overnight too, because that's when it can get really dangerous when everybody's sleeping, especially if you live in southern areas of Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. So y'all have a great night, and God bless all y'all.